the stillness, we find wisdom.
In reflection, we find growth.
Welcome to Soulful Reflections, conversations for the soul,
and lessons for life.
Whether you're searching for personal growth,
a little inspiration, or finding peace in the chaos,
you have come to the right place.
I'm Catherina.
And I'm Peta-Gaye.
And together,
we will explore life's beauty,
challenges, and everything in between.
Let's begin this beautiful journey. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Soulful Reflections, where we have conversation for the soul and lessons for life. Hey Kathy, what's up? How you doing?
Doing good, PG. How are you?
I am doing good. I am doing good. I'm feeling better. I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Nice.
Yes.
So that you're doing good today.
Thank you.
All right.
So on today's episode of Soulful Reflections,
we'll be touching on a topic that's sometimes not spoken about too often, and it touches us in more
different ways
than we would like to acknowledge or mention.
Yeah.
And that topic is grief.
Yeah, grief. There's so much to unpack there with that topic. What would you say, Kathy? How would you describe grief in your own words? How would you describe grief in your own words?
Okay.
Or describe grief in your own words.
My own words.
When you hear grief, what does that mean to you?
For me, when I think of grief, I think of it as being where, let's say, for example, that person or that place or that dream or that job you loved and you look up to and you held a particular space for that because it's no longer there. You are trying to find a way to deal with those feelings that you probably would have displayed towards that person, place, dream, idea, or thought. But because you don't have that space no longer there to display that affection, that love, that care, what you hold so dear to you, you miss it, and you tend to grieve that loss. And I think it's a process. I would say, probably like waves.
Oh, definitely. But hold that thought there because we're gonna get more into into as we go down into the conversation a bit. Grief to me simply means death. Death of something, someone, or the end of something.
Yeah.
Right? That's what when I hear grief and then you think sadness.
Yeah.
Well, I think sadness. When I hear that word, grief, that's just what comes to my mind. Death, end of, and sadness. That's really what comes to my mind when I hear grief. Not your Webster's dictionary
No, not at all.
definition or your ChatGPT definition. But that's really what I think of grief when I think of the word, when I hear the word grief.
Right.
Yeah. Is there a moment or a season in your life where you experienced, well, let's back up a little bit first, right?
Okay.
Because grief is oftentimes associated with death, like loss of a loved one, usually. But I was at a woman's meeting group thing at my church. I think last year we had a psychologist, one of our ladies from the church, and she came in, she was talking about grief. And she said, grief is not just when someone die, right? But it's like the loss of job, a relationship, a pet, a thing, a dream. Exactly, and I thought, wow, like for real. What do you think about that? Like, would you agree with that statement that you have those quote unquote non-traditional losses that we do grieve?
I would say that I agree. And just like you, growing up when you heard the term grieve, but you heard the term grieving.
Right,
It was
right.
always associated, or you heard it more when you attend
Correct.
funerals, someone
Correct.
passed,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's like, you see the family grieving. So whenever you hear that term
Correct.
grief, that's the first picture that comes
Definitely.
about. But just
Definitely.
like you as well, as time progresses and as you get into different spheres and
Mm-hmm.
reading different things,
Mm-hmm.
attending different conferences or
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case may be, is where you realize really and truly that grief can be associated with the different things that we
Definitely.
mentioned,
Definitely.
and they can hurt.
Real bad too.
They can hurt. They can hurt.
Because it
They
just
can
kind
hurt.
of like depends. Like when I heard it, like Oprah, loved Oprah. She used to have, when she had her talk show, she was
Yeah,
like an aha moment. So when I heard it, I had like a, ah, for real,
yeah.
and because they do hurt too, it's just really about that emotional
That processing
connection that you
getting
had with the thing
that's
or
no longer there.
person that's no longer there, that expectation,
Hmm.
that's no longer there. So, I mean, yeah, when I saw that, it was like an epiphany for
Right.
me.
And I think also too as well, something that was also mentioned too as well is persons that you may not maybe have not had that closeness with,
Mm-hmm.
but let's say you may have admired them from afar too as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh,
So
for sure.
even those as well,
For
you can
sure. For
see
sure.
people literally also grieve
For sure.
from a
For
distance for
sure.
those
For
people too.
sure.
That
For sure.
void, because you know what that person meant to whether the community or the
Correct.
world, and that is
No,
no longer
correct.
there.
Definitely. 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 We had that personally, I had it locally when
Hmm.
there was this lady, she was a lawyer,
Yeah.
right, in St. Martin,
Okay.
and she passed away, and a popular one at that. She was well known in the community, and I didn't know her,
Hmm.
just heard of her, and just how she passed away, and then she had kids and a family, and it just really watched her funeral. I
Yeah.
didn't even
Yeah.
met the lady, but it really touched me, and I felt sad, and I felt, so much
Right.
empathy towards her loved one,
Right.
so that impacted, and especially when I read up all that she did for the community and
Hmm.
how much of a good lawyer she was, etc., etc., you felt even like, oh my gosh, wow,
Yeah. That unexpectedness too sometimes too can hit you like a thunderbolt.
correct,
Like with
correct,
certain persons that in my life that we've came across, and that suddenness because you had high hopes and you go about your day to day thinking, okay, you know what, tomorrow,
right, right,
you're gonna see that person whether it's on TV or in the
hmm
community or at work or wherever, and then just to realize that that no longer exists. It's like, okay, I'm looking at the future. That future may not be there. It may not be where it's literally that
hmm
connection with the person,
hmm
but it's probably what you saw that person doing or
correct,
giving,
correct,
and you realize that that is going to be lost. Like,
correct,
is there any hope? Like, oh
correct,
man, the last hope that you had, it's no longer there.
correct, correct.
What's gonna happen next?
Correct.
You know?
And you touch on a point where you said, like maybe even people that we see on TV and stuff like that, and like celebrities,
Hmm.
especially with social media now in this day and age, you feel, you can follow your favorite
Yeah,
athlete or celebrity that you admire their work. You
correct,
love their work, and
correct,
you just think that, they're awesome in whatever they do.
right.
And it's like, wow, when they're no longer there, there's been many celebrities for me, to be honest. And you realize like they're no longer there. You're
Right.
like, oh my gosh. And you just, you think of their family. You're just like, oh my
Hmm.
God, I'm not gonna see this person be able to put out anything
Yeah.
new. And you just, you like their spirit, at least what you
What
see
you see, correct, correct,
on
correct,
TV,
correct.
Was there anyone for you, like celebrity wise?
Celebrity wise,
How much?
there's been a couple. I would
Right.
say there has been Kobe Bryant.
Oh,
My brother and I, we had those jerseys
right.
at
But that
home,
was
and that
so
it
devastating
was,
too.
it
Like just the
was,
way he died and died with his, that was,
yeah, that's tough.
that was tough.
That's tough. That's tough. There's Malcolm Jamal Warner too as well. Like,
Yeah.
you see these people and you just think of impact.
And
at
especially like Malcolm,
Peta-Gaye.
because Malcolm been on TV from Cosby Show
Yeah,
days, and it was like it's kind of like almost forever
you
because
grew up as a
you
household, like everyone,
right,
right?
right. It's just this weird connection in a way, but
Yeah,
also
yeah,
I mean they're human beings too. They have
correct,
their families and
correct.
stuff, so
You can
you
just
know,
imagine.
yeah.
So
And how he died too was
yeah,
tragic as well.
correct, correct,
Yeah.
correct. And for you, PG, there are any celebrity ones that you
Oh, for
can
sure, a lot. A lot. But growing up, I can remember like Princess Diana because my mom, we loved her. We watched
yeah,
everything. And I remember because of the time difference, her funeral was really early in the morning, St. Martin time. So my mom woke me up
to watch
and
it?
we watched the funeral the entire day because. So you had like her, you had like Aaliyah.
Oh yeah, I remember Leah.
Yeah, that was so, and I think sometimes the way
The way, correct,
they
correct,
die
correct,
also
correct,
adds another level of
right.
another part of the process
Mm-hmm,
in the grieving process. But back to the celebrity Aaliyah, Whitney Houston,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
was some of my Michael
Michael Jackson.
Jackson and
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant. Yeah, those were some ones that just off the top of my head.
Man.
Malcolm too, because I love the Cosby Show,
Yeah, yeah,
and you were just like, wow, and he still looks so young, full of life,
correct.
and it's just, sad,
Sad.
sad. It's sad, really. But is there a moment
Mm,
or a season when you experience grief, whether it's through death or a major life change or
mm-hmm.
anything, just you experience grief in something
Yeah.
that you want to
Um,
share with us today?
sure. That was one person that I can recall who was my mentor.
Mm-hmm.
There are different people that has passed that, you look up to, and it just surprises you that they're no longer there.
Right,
So there's
right.
a couple people, not just my mentor, but there's a couple other people who have been like, a lack of better
Mm-hmm.
words, I would say you see them as your your adopted uncle,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
your
yeah.
your different mentors or your
Correct,
adopted
correct,
aunties and so forth. And then in your mind, you see these people as you never imagine them not being there
correct,
anymore.
correct, correct.
You never imagine life without them.
Especially if they've been there for a while.
I'm telling you, since I'm like, yay, hi,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
so you've always had them in your life
Correct,
and
correct.
you've never stopped to
And
think,
sometimes because you've always had them,
yeah,
in a way, you kind of take them for granted in a way.
yeah,
It's like because they're just always been there, and
right.
sometimes you really don't know. Maybe not even take them for granted sometimes, but then you really don't know the impact that they've had on your life until they're
Till,
no longer there.
correct, correct, correct. And that is something, having to see those persons pass who have
Mm-hmm.
grown up with in their homes, in and out, people that you can talk to, you have conversations with.
Right.
It really causes you to pause and reflect. Well, at least for me,
Mm-hmm.
really reflect
Mm-hmm.
and think about, because I have known what they have done in the earth, what they have already deposited, what they have left.
Mm-hmm.
And it leaves me thinking, okay, first and foremost, what else is there for me to give and do? Um, they have done their part.
Right.
So now I'm still here. So it's for me to do my
Right.
part
Right.
as well. And then you think about, man, really am I living every day to the fullest? Because I really don't know what's going to be next. Am I really telling folks, I love them? As you rightfully said, sometimes we take it for granted that, hey, we're just going to see them. But then it's like, really and truly, am I really going to see that person? So, all these different thoughts starts to go through your mind and you start to wonder, you start to think, you think, oh man, what's next? So that
Mm-hmm.
has been
Mm-hmm.
a few seasons, I would
Right.
say, in my
Right.
life.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Right.
And you, PG?
Well, the moment or season that I've experienced grief,
Mm,
I've grieved a lot of things. I've ideas, expectations,
right.
hopes, dreams, things that you thought would turn out a particular way and it didn't. Also loss of loved ones, which can really have, depending on who the person is, can really, you know, change you. And leave you to let you think. But I would say I think my one of my first experiences really with loss or death of someone really, really close to me emotionally, right? Because you can have family members that are blood,
Right.
but you don't know them, you never really grew up
That
with them, you never spent,
closeness,
right, that
yeah.
closeness is not there. But would be my dear friend Latoya Grayson, who passed away tragically about maybe about 14 years.
Okay.
November coming would be 14 years. So that was my first real like wow with the loss of someone, and I remember how it felt. I like it's been 14 years and I could
Mm-hmm.
legit play back over the day in when that happened, and some of the feelings and some of the emotions of that day when it happened. As well as I've grieved dreams, hopes, expectations with
Mm-hmm.
loved ones, that maybe didn't turn out
Right.
the way things went, or, something happened and then the relationship maybe is not what it used to be,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
those things too as well. Um, yeah, that I've experienced. And I've experienced a lot of that within the last 2 years. I keep talking about this last 2 years, but crazy. I've experienced a lot of that too within even yeah, the last 2 years, even the last 2 years. Yeah.
Have you ever, because I've heard individuals mention this one, have you ever like grieved a version of yourself?
Funny that you actually asked that question, Kathy. I swear to you, just now, when we were talking about that question,
Right.
that came to my mind to
Oh, really?
say yes, but then it slipped my mind. Yes,
Mm. Tell us about that one.
yes, I have grieved a version of myself. I actually was speaking about it the other day that
Mm.
because of some of my experiences, I was saying that, I've lost parts of myself that I would like to get back. There's some things that you're okay to part with.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, for growth, yeah, 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 you didn't need that. But then there were other aspects that, yeah, I wanted back. I wanted back. And just because of life experiences, I lost some of it. I believe I'm on the verge of
Yeah, you're back.
getting it back. Some of those things were like my self-confidence,
Mm-hmm.
like just through some experiences, my confidence went to the
Mm-hmm.
ground. I know it wouldn't look like that to many, but really it really did, and I shied away a lot from the spotlight, from a lot of things and so on. And that's one thing. There are other aspects too, but that's really one thing that I lost, and that I on on
The journey.
the path, the trajectory to get it
Yeah.
back is my self-confidence, and just believing in myself and believing that I can do it, believing that I'm worthy
Mm-hmm.
of good things. And
You are worthy of good things,
yes,
Gigi.
thank you. But that's definitely, I was shying away a lot. I just didn't want to be seen. I just, and, even I don't think I've, even still today at 43, I don't think I've really tapped into my full potential of, the things that God has placed inside of me to do, because He has gifted us
So
each
yeah, with
with
different
our own,
things.
with unique, right, stuff, with unique different things, all for His honor and glory, of course. And I still feel like I haven't really tapped into my potential of really what I can do and accomplish, and so yeah.
You're
What
on the
about
road
you?
to doing it, PG. So I am
Yeah,
here
that's
in
a good
Toronto
question. Now,
and
would
I
you?
am looking forward to seeing you
Thank you. This
gain
is
that
this
back.
this podcast is part of me walking, I believe, into what I think is my destiny and part of God's plan
Mm,
for me. And
nice.
and it helps to get
Build.
back,
Yes. Yes.
build up yourself, right? And build up your self-confidence. What about you? Have you grieved a version of yourself? Version of myself. That's a good question, okay? We didn't have that plan.
I
We didn't have
know.
these on cue
It,
cards,
it
but that was
came
a
to
good question.
mind.
And I think it's a good one because I think there are many of us, many people that have, like when you're young, you're so full of life, full of life, and you're so carefree, and you feel like you could conquer the world.
But life happens
And then,
along the way
right,
that unexpected
right.
for you,
And
and
some
it
experiences
different
can
certain
really,
things.
yeah, some experiences and choices, because I mean,
Hmm.
let's be real, sometimes we have to be accountable. It's our choices that we made sometimes,
Sometimes
that we make that, really, make us go left
a
sometimes,
little detour.
Yeah, a little detour, right? So, yeah. What about you?
Um, I would say right about no,
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 no, but that's good.
not any parts I have grieved
Mm-hmm.
of me just yet.
Mm-hmm.
Those parts that I am shedding and letting go. I mean, there may be some friendships that you would think added certain things to your life, and you see those things in your life. It's not really there as it would be, for example. But then at the same time, I'm thinking, well, you know what? It's just growth coming into a new
Mm-hmm.
version of myself.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I would say right now, no, not at this moment, no,
Okay.
no.
Okay. I mean, that's fair enough. I mean, different experiences, different
Right,
perspective,
right,
right?
right, right,
So,
right, right.
you just never know. So, how would you, having experienced grief in different ways,
Mm-hmm,
how would you say, what has been your experience, I should say, grief
mm-hmm.
has showed up in your body, emotions, and maybe also spiritually? What has been your experience?
Okay. Um, I would say there would be times where you just start to wonder and drift, and your mind starts to think, what if?
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
then those emotions
Right.
right then and there starts to change a bit. Like you could be one way right now,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden, because you started thinking, okay, hey, something may have triggered. If that person was here, this would have happened, etc., etc., triggered it. And then it's like sends you off on a path thinking about something else. What if this person was here? They would have said this, they would have done this. And then you started thinking and started drifting and so forth. So that's one way where your emotions can be one way this way now,
Right.
but then in the next few seconds
Yeah,
it
because
shifts.
grief comes in waves.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a roller coaster, like literally you could be laughing and there's something is said, a
Yes.
sense,
I was
something,
just
a
gonna say that.
memory,
Uh-huh.
and it's like whoop, tears come. You
Yeah.
start to miss the person, thing, whatever it is, right? And yeah, so grief is like this, literally like this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely in stages. Spiritually.
Yep.
Spiritually, how
Spiritually, you just
how
tend
would
to
you say what has been your experience spiritually?
spiritually, you just ask God why.
Right. I was
Like
just
that's
gonna
the
say that.
first. Yeah, you can be like, okay, God, this don't make no sense.
Correct.
So it's not where I'm questioning his character.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just, okay, God, but
I don't
why?
understand.
Yeah, I don't understand. Make it make
Mm-hmm.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, from that spiritual aspect, just the why.
Right, right, right.
I think that's the biggest thing spiritually. Like, why? Just why?
Right. Well, for me, how grief has showed up. Emotions, you're sad,
Mm-hmm.
angry, depending on what it is. Um, in your body, it can make you tired,
Yes,
actually.
yes, yes.
Can make you tired.
Don't want to do anything.
Just thinking, don't want to do anything,
Yeah.
just sad, you just feel exhausted. You're just maybe in a trance, you want to call it, you're just trying to make sense. Your mind is trying to process
Mm-hmm.
what has happened. And, spiritually for me too, it's that why, spiritually. For some things, not everything I ask the why, but also spirit, depending on what it is sometimes. I don't feel like praying.
Mm, mm-hmm.
I don't feel like praying. I don't feel like talking to God because sometimes I'm upset with him. Yeah, I'm upset with him, right? Because it's a relationship,
Understandable.
you know,
Yeah, understandable.
and he's my father, and sometimes we get upset with our father, right? Because we don't have the bigger picture, we don't understand, and we're questioning why,
Why?
you know, not a sense to his character, but really like why does that happen this way,
Mm-hmm.
that type of thing. So
Why this person? There's so many other persons out there. Do you see what this one is doing? This one is doing.
yeah,
Like, why
or
this
what,
other
yeah,
one?
or why no, or why me,
Mm-hmm.
that type of thing. That's
Mm-hmm.
how I've personally experienced it, even with the traditional, like losing someone. And even with the non-traditional losses,
Yeah.
right? Like you're grieving a dream, a hope, expectation, relationships, friendships, that type of things.
Right.
That's how it has, how I've experienced it in those
Those areas.
different ways. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you think, Kathy, do
Mm-hmm.
you think that, because you know, here in the Caribbean, you know, we are some special people. We are special breed. But do you think in the Caribbean we allow each other enough space to grieve? Because you know how we be, right? Okay, but I happened already. Da, 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 da. You won't get over that yet. Da, 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 da. You know that's how it is. And like even if we pray for gone to a better place, da, 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 you know, that's how some of
Yeah.
it. Do you how it can be? How do you think it is now? Do you think in the, you know, for the most part we allow people to grieve, give them time and we give them enough space to grieve
Okay.
here in the Caribbean context.
Oh, Caribbean context. Okay. So for me, PG, how I see it as not just Caribbean, but I think people on a whole sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so as soon as you ask me that question, I'm thinking about other friends that I know that's abroad in the US too as well, and different places. And you can see, for a lack of better words, I would say probably the insensitive side
Mm-hmm.
of people all around.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because of the different perspectives of how people view it, it may seem like, hey, you may not respect that person's
Right, right,
season
right.
or moments of
Mm-hmm.
grief that they have. So that it brings me more to the question of um the compassion side or the empathy side of people on a whole. Because I've seen it in the Caribbean, but I've also seen it abroad too.
Mm-hmm. Because sticking
So
a pin, give you
like for real.
like just sticking a pin because for instance, let's use a pet,
Hmm.
right? In the Caribbean, I would say for the most part, people are not that pet, you know, friendly.
Right.
They're getting there, but maybe in other parts of the world, they're very, you know, pets are a big thing.
Big
So,
thing,
for
big.
instance, you might have someone that lost their pet, and they're crying, right? And then another cat member will be like, it's just a dog, it's just a cat, it's a
It's
fish,
so perspective. I'm like, you
right?
understand?
You know,
It's
because
how
they
we
just like
see it.
really, it's not even a human being,
Correct
you
perspective.
know? So, you have like those cases, you know,
Yeah.
because I've seen my kid, I mean, the dog, yeah, one dog died and we gave away and
Hmm.
they cried, like
Of
they were
course, of
really, really
course.
sad, you know, and my old self would be like, "Eh, da, da, da," but no, you know, because I even also got attached to the dog. It's
Hmm.
nice to see the dog when you come home. So even in like stuff like that, you know,
You see, I think it's perspective,
perspective,
PG.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
really think it's the
Mhm,
perspective of how folks view it. Because even like right here, I know someone that may say, well, hey, and it's a person. They may be like, well, one day we all have to leave this earth. And I've heard it here, I've heard it abroad, and I'm like, that may be true, but at the same time, we who are remaining here on earth, you still have that
mhm,
process of grief to go through, and everyone grieves differently.
right.
That
That
is
that
something that I
is
realized.
so.
everyone
That is so
grieves
true.
differently. And
It's not
I've
because
seen,
somebody don't cry, mean they're not grieving,
that's exactly what I was coming to
right?
say.
Yeah,
Like one person, it's like, hey, the next day or the next few days, they're back at work, and it's not because the company didn't give them that time
right,
off,
right, right.
which they need, but it's just for them, that is what they want to use to
To keep
go,
busy,
to keep
maybe. Yeah,
busy, to
yeah,
keep
yeah, yeah.
moving, to keep going. Other people, you may see that they need to travel, they may withdraw, like, become withdrawn and these different things. And it's like, hey, it's all about, I believe, just having that empathy and
But I
compassion for
think too,
people.
I think another part of it is that, a lot of us, we're not comfortable with sitting with emotions and
Mm,
feelings.
that
It's
is true.
always this move to the next, get
Yeah,
over it, move to
yeah.
the next, and
Hmm.
that type of thing. I don't
Yeah,
think we're comfortable. I don't think we like it. I mean, it's not nice to sit with your raw
correct,
emotions
correct.
sometimes, right? Because it doesn't feel good.
No, it doesn't. It
It
doesn't.
doesn't feel good. So sometimes, because I can for sure say, like, with my mom,
Hmm.
there are time, like, I just legit, I don't want to, I choose not to look. I want to
Yeah.
look at her pictures, but then I don't want to feel sad and I don't want to cry, right? So it's
Hmm.
like I think of her all the time and I want to look at the pictures. I want to go back. I want to watch videos. I want to hear her voice. I want to go back in our chat. I want to play the voice
Yes,
notes,
yes, yes.
but I don't want to feel that way and I don't want
Yeah.
to cry. So, or sometimes I start to cry and then you're like, okay, no, you should. So sometimes you just, because it hurts, so you don't want to
No
do
one,
that. So
no
then,
one likes to feel that way.
yeah, yeah, no one likes to feel that way. So it could be like a mixture of things why people also,
Hmm.
try to hurry
Hurry.
the
Yeah,
process,
yeah, yeah.
hurry the process of, grief, I think. But I think we need to do a little better with allowing people the space and
Space.
not because
Hmm.
something, using the pet example again, not because you're not a pet person
Correct.
or not because, you think it's a friendship and you're like, I should get over that, or it's a relationship. And, oh my God, a man and woman and plenty fish in the sea. You
Exactly.
get that a lot. I mean, I think we need to respect what things mean to people. Things or people
Hmm.
mean to people and allow them.
That's the way.
While, I mean, of course, there's a balance. You know it's good. You don't want to stay there because you could get depressed and all those stuff. But grief is in stages, and I think we need to understand that it's in stages, and it can take time depending on what that thing or
Correct.
person
Correct.
meant to you.
Hmm.
And yeah, we need to allow people once they're not getting into like depression and stuff. Then they need help, and we need to try and help them. But I think we just need to allow people the time. You know, think we need to allow them the time
As a community. And I think that is the support that we can
because the
offer
process is
people.
healthy.
Exactly,
Process
exactly.
is healthy. So if you start to see now, like how you say, like a thing, and you're using and you're doing it in a negative way, you're coping in a
Hmm.
negative way, then no, we have a
A
problem.
problem, correct.
Yeah, then no, we really have a problem. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
That's fine, that's fine. No, I was saying, like, that is one way I think persons who are going through their grieving moments, that support from the community, that understanding
Mm-hmm,
can actually go a long way. Sometimes you may not have the words to
mm-hmm,
properly say, but having that empathy,
mm-hmm,
allowing them that space
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
respecting it, I think people underestimate um, how much that actually too as
Of
well
course.
is helping folks too as well.
Mhm. And also just showing up for them,
Hmm.
because sometimes really depending on the situation, there really are no words
Correct, correct.
that can bring comfort. So sometimes just being there, just giving them a hug, praying for them in private, because
Hmm.
it might not be wise to do that in the moment,
Right.
right? But sometimes just showing up, is enough.
Hmm.
Because I kind of rhyme there, sure, is enough. But just being there for let me I can use the example of death of a loved one. I remember, well, talking about my mom because she's the most recent one that
Hmm.
has passed
Hmm.
away in my life. And when someone passed away, there are things to be done. Life goes on, and just my friends and family, jump around. Who was doing
Yeah,
this? Who
yeah.
was helping that? So
That presence.
yeah, just that presence to, hey, do you need anything? You need
Yeah.
me to pick up the kids? Do you need bringing over food? because I don't like to cook. And then, of course, in that time, it's even worse. So, like, yeah, there were friends that like brought over food, hey, cooking food, because during that time,
You don't get the time,
right,
not in the mental
you
space.
correct. So even showing up in those ways, I think is very, very important and goes a long way for persons that are grieving,
Yeah,
going through that process, because right after you lose someone, then you have to quickly think about funeral, all the arrangements and stuff. It's like
it's a lot.
everything is just going so fast,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
everything is going so fast. But then too, there's also like, if it's really, really bad, then there's grief counseling.
Yes. And I think I was coming to that point that you mentioned. And I think that's something that should be also encouraged too, as
Of
well, that we
course,
should
of course,
encourage
of course.
individuals, because sometimes we try to carry the weight of our loved ones, etc., etc. But if we can be honest with them and say, hey, you know what, I think you probably want to look
Maybe correct,
into
correct,
this as well to help you
correct,
in a healthy way, so
correct,
that you
correct.
can know how to deal with it in a healthy way. I suggest that you take up this
Correct.
offer too as well.
No, definitely, definitely, because I mean, they are professionals. They
Yeah,
do
they
have
know how to
grief
handle it.
counselors and they know what to do. They'll be able to give you tools and, stuff that you can use to
Right.
go through your process. They won't take away the grieving process, but they can help you just like we go to the doctor when we're sick, we go to our general practitioner.
Mm-hmm.
When we're sick, we go to the emergency room. I mean, if it's really bad and if you're really having a
Right.
warm time with it, I mean, yeah,
The help that you
get
need.
the help that you need and we shouldn't be afraid of it. You just do it privately. You don't even have to let anyone know, but
Mm-hmm.
it's something that because I think sometimes as caring people we are afraid to ask for help, especially in these areas.
Yeah,
Especially in these
I
areas.
think that fear too comes about with part of it being that trust, as you mentioned, the Caribbean, because sometimes somebody might see you going here, there, etc., and they're gonna be like, "But I just saw Peta-Gaye going into this and this person's office," and you know how that can get.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know how that can get.
The challenge of small communities
Yes,
and everybody
yes.
know each other. And, yeah,
Right,
it can be,
right.
it's, yeah, it can be a little thing. But then I think too, it kind of, when people see maybe you going counseling or something, people associate those things with maybe like you're crazy or you can't handle it on your
Yes.
own. There's certain stigmas to it, that makes people not want
Want
to
to,
seek
correct.
the help. Or some people fear that going to these or getting help makes you seem weak. Because that's another thing too.
It's another one.
Like,
That's
they,
another
they think
one.
like, oh my God, I'm supposed to be able to handle it all on my
Yeah.
own, but
Hmm.
we were never created to handle it
Correct.
all on our own.
I actually had one person too as well that I suggested, I think you need to,
Hmm.
go and get, this
Someone to talk to.
yeah, someone to talk to. And the person was like, nope, I don't want this person up in my mind, trying to dictate, my life, etc., etc. And I'm like, no, I don't think that's the purpose
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
you going to this. So when you hear these type of remarks, etc., it's that fear too as well. Because
Correct,
when you
correct.
enter into these
Because it's
spaces,
vulnerable, eh?
that's what I was gonna say.
A lot of people,
That's what I was gonna say.
and
You're becoming
right,
very
because when I
vulnerable.
said, we don't want to sit with our feelings,
Yeah,
that's also vulnerability too,
correct,
because a lot of
correct.
times we even scared to be vulnerable with
Own
ourselves,
selves. Hmm.
and then also because also, and then also we may know stuff that's going on and we may understand it, and then it's like to let someone into
And
that space because your thoughts and whatever, there's some things that maybe you
that's
never
it.
even shared with
Hmm.
your loved ones, and in therapy, counseling,
Yeah.
whatever, so you gotta in order to get better, you're gonna have to be vulnerable.
Cool. Yep.
Yeah, so I
And
think
that's the
that's
thing. That's the thing.
yeah,
That's one of the challenges,
yeah,
as you say, for us to let our guard down and let someone in.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Trusted.
That's a huge one.
Yeah. So the vulnerability and the trust, I think, is an issue,
Hmm.
and yeah, just being with grief because they have a thing like when you're grieving, especially with the death of someone, like sometimes you don't want ugly cry. you don't want ugly cry, you just want to be cutesy, especially in public. But let me tell you, that grief can hit you where so hard that
Mm-hmm.
you don't even know how it happened, where it come from. You are like, you're not even crying anymore. You're not even crying anymore. I've experienced it in death and also
Mm-hmm.
with things that just didn't turn
Yeah,
out
turn
the
out.
way where you like it's like you and it's like it from your bottom, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak, and it's like that pain and it's like you don't even know how you didn't plan to, but it just and you make sound like you scream in excess of crying, like I remember going home after leaving the hospital because my mom
Yeah.
passed away in the hospital and everything, and then went home because within the last year when she got sick, she was living with me, so she was in
Yeah.
a particular room.
Okay.
And I remember after we came home from the hospital, and like I went in the room and I just bawled. I was like, "Mommy," like
Yeah.
my husband and whoever were home had to come in the room, and
Yeah.
you just bawling and just bawling, like it's just weird. So grief is just, it has no look, in my opinion. It has no look, it has no one way. What I do know for sure is definitely in waves. For sure. Definitely, definitely in waves.
Has
For
no
sure.
respect of persons.
No, it's
It
not.
doesn't, it doesn't,
It's not.
it has no respect of
No
persons.
respect of
Mm-hmm.
persons at all. For sure, for sure. And like I said, sometimes you think you can handle things, and then when you look, no man, that thing knock you over like a wave in Domole Beach.
Mm.
And that wave, yeah, for sure. That has been.
Would you say that you have come to, because as you mentioned that there are stages. So what about the acceptance stage? Let's say, for example, when it comes to a dream or something that you've held close to you, how was the
Mm,
acceptance
mhm.
stage like for you? Because I know what mine have been like, but how was yours been like?
The acceptance stage, depending on what it is, can be really hard and can take time
Mm-hmm.
to accept, especially if you believed with a shadow of a doubt, this is how something is going to be, and it had all the looks of it to be that way,
Yeah.
like a goal, a dream, an expectation, and then it doesn't. And it can be hard and it can take a
Hard.
while and
Mm-hmm.
it could take years.
I was coming to say that years,
It can actually take years
years.
depending on what it is. And yeah, I mean, with the things I've grieved, I think yeah, I mean, definitely in the acceptance stage of it, them
Mm-hmm.
happening now for sure. With my mom, I was prepared.
Mm-hmm.
God did prepare me for it, but still, when it happened, it just kind of just still take you by
Of
surprise,
course,
so
of
to speak.
course.
It took you by surprise, and it happened so rapidly too. That was my main thing with my mom. It just happened so quickly,
Mhm.
right? Um, so yeah, so it didn't take me with my mom. I accepted it pretty quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, with my mom, I accepted because, like I said, God had showed it to me, and it was gonna happen, but it was just a matter of when, and it just happened like within the space of a month,
Mm. I
literally.
remember we had that discussion
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. So it just happened. I thought maybe okay until the end of the year, and then in the space of a month, like that happened. Yeah.
I mean, for me, when it came to a certain dream, um, a certain picture that you hold dear to
Mm-hmm.
you, it's like for some reason, there was this weird feeling of still having a hope. Although
Mm-hmm.
you're seeing it not
Correct.
happening,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but at the same time,
For
there's a
real.
weird feeling of a hope
For
or
real.
of
For real.
a switch or of a change.
Mm-hmm.
And then, rightfully, as you said, it took me some years to realize that this is it,
Happened to me too. Yeah.
that
That
this is
happened to
it,
me too.
and that, you know, that hope that you have, you come to the realization that it may not even come to pass. And I think that's when um I wouldn't say like all hope was lost, but it become less hopeful, less
For
hopeful.
sure.
And
For
then
sure.
it's
Yep.
like, you just start talking to yourself sometimes to snap yourself out of, I don't know, what do you want to call it? You probably call it a trance or whatever, snap yourself out of it and you talk to yourself and you're like, you know what? No, this is how it is. Okay, so let me find XYZ, the next one to deal with it or to fill that space. And for me, that was my point of acceptance per se, knowing that this is this is really how it's gonna be.
Yeah.
You know you don't
You
want it,
really fleshed
but
out.
this is how
Yeah,
it's gonna
that's
be.
really how it can be, especially with like you said, like a dream or
Hmm.
a expectation or something that you wanted
Right.
really, really bad. And that was exactly how, like, you like, wow, I remember just like in my particular situation, I was like just shocked, just like my mind just couldn't
Yeah,
comprehend. And I was like, so, wow, when it did take me some years to really be like, okay, this is what it is,
correct.
So
So
yeah,
we're
yeah,
winding
yeah.
down, PG.
Yeah, this is
We're
a
going
good
down.
topic.
It's a good
There's a
topic.
lot to unpack
A
here.
lot,
We
a lot to unpack. Hopefully
should
we can
maybe do
probably
another episode, right? A part
yeah,
two.
a part two and
Mm-hmm.
probably have a surprise for part two.
Yeah, maybe,
Maybe.
maybe.
You
Yeah,
never know.
we're gonna look into it.
All right. So as we wrap up today's topic on grief,
Mm-hmm.
we've learned and unpacked a lot in
Yeah,
terms of how it may be traditional and non-traditional
yeah, yeah, yeah,
from
yeah.
what we know. So what is our last soulful note or soulful statement that
Well,
you want to leave or make?
if your loved one could
Mm-hmm.
hear you right now, what would you say to them? You mentioned like one of your mentors or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. What would you say to them?
If he was here, um, one thing that I would be able to tell her is I love her.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciated her for all that she did.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that she's proud of who I am today.
Mm-hmm. Lovely. Where are the napkins? Where is the tissue? Where's the Kleenex? So, for me, it
Mm-hmm.
would my mom being the most recent and the person that has had the most impact on my life. Um, thank you,
Mm.
thank you, thank you, and that you're amazing.
Mm.
Yeah, you're amazing, and just really just thank you for everything. The foundation that she laid for me and my siblings, because it
Right.
wasn't just for me alone. And she was up and even when we're adults, she's still just doing stuff for us. Even while she was doing treatment, she was just still there, still present. So really, thank you. And sometimes I feel bad because I feel like, maybe I was just too busy to not even sit with her in that moment. And especially when she was sick, I mean, she knew, she understood there was so many things going on in my life at that time.
Right.
And I just felt like it was just so busy and I just had to be on the go. And I feel like I wanted to savor some of that moment, sit with her a little bit more and, just sit with her, hug her. Don't even have to talk, just hold hands.
Right.
So, yeah, I would say thank you, because amazing, like I mentioned earlier, sometimes, she's my mom. She's had an impact on my life, da da da. But sometimes it's really, oh, when they're not there anymore
Mm-hmm.
because, like you rightfully say, they're always there,
Yeah.
always present. I can't remember my mom ever telling me no. Even while doing treatment, mommy, can you go? Just tell me where you want to do. I will go for you,
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you, mommy. And I love you. Yeah, a lot. And yeah,
So this is the end of today's episode.
yeah, you know, yeah. I don't even know what to say,
I
but
know.
we hope that this episode, will resonate. Someone will resonate with many of you, and we hope that there is something that you could take from this episode, um, that you can take from this episode that will help, right? And until next time, we'll see. I know it ended a little teary, but this is necessary, right? It's a safe space, and we want to be
Right.
vulnerable, right? And until next time, stay soulful.
Stay
See you next
soulful.
time. Bye.
Bye. It's like sometimes too as well on those life detours, we tend to have a nudge to know, well, hey, probably this is the direction that you need to be turning next. There are some that keep you on that road that you have to be on that road for a while. And then there are some other moments where it's like, okay, you need to give up XYZ. But then sometimes in our own stubbornness, we choose not to.
Right. Because it don't feel good sometimes to
It
give up
doesn't.
some things, huh? It's
It
hard.
doesn't. Like even relationships
Yeah,
that you may have, or even like jobs and certain things.
correct.
And we tend to prolong our stay on those roads too as well when we are like not wanting to release what we have now to actually get what is in store for us down the road. That is way better. Thank you for sharing this space with us.
If today's reflection resonated with you, we'd love to hear from you. Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Until next time,
Keep nurturing your soul
and keep planting seeds of wisdom and love.